Welcome back to another exciting episode of Penetrate Your Brain, the podcast, hosted by me, Zombie Torres, and my lovely co-host, Dagger.
Heidi ho, friends and lovers.
Today will be our very first annual Valentine's Day Love Sucks Sex Edition. But I know this is a Valentine's Day show, but I kind of want to I'm going to get a little political here. I'm going to play a video, and then I'm going to segue into the rest of our show. So bear with me.
We don't like government regulation over here at all. That means I can bust a nut on the floor of my bathroom.
So there's actually a bill right now that's being signed into legislation that's trying to minimize and even illegalize the amount of times that men are allowed to per month.
Honestly, I'm not that opposed to it because I can't be in favor of pro-life and be against that.
I definitely don't think the government should get involved.
They measured a milliliter of sperm. It has a heartbeat the size of a mouse.
Telling me after I jack off, I should think about how long my sperm stays alive.
I mean, that's what I do. I don't jerk off.
Really?
I don't self-release. My organization believes that it's a loss of life. You're murdering what could be children.
I agree. I could see the point of where people say it's a waste, and it's like you're wasting something that they can't have.
Yeah, you're asking questions I haven't even thought about. You're definitely asking some real questions that people got to think about for sure, yeah.
So
I don't know about that.
okay, the very first time I heard about this, I thought, Jesus fucking Christ, here we go again, right? But it's actually the Democratic Mississippi State Center introduced a Contraception Begins at Erection Act, which, right, so I feel with what's happening in today's world, it doesn't seem like too far-fetched, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, I fucking believe everything he tells us, you know what I mean? Senator Bradford Blackman, 36, introduced a bill that caused an uproar, which would outlaw men from discharging genetic material without the intent to fertilize an embryo. When a bill has been filed that would regulate what a man is able to do with his own body in his own home, it suddenly has people in uproar. He said in a statement. He added that he made the proposal to highlight the double standards in legislation. I'm trying to figure out when it's okay for the government to dictate what you do in the privacy of your own home. Apparently, it is when the law regulates men, which I agree. You know, I feel that no old white man should have a say what women do with their body. So, and I'm sure you agree as well.
Well, yeah, obvious.
so yeah, that was my little I guess political segment to start off the show. Yeah, I mean, I guess let's get to know each other. I mean, I know I haven't known you that long, but I think we should start from the start for both of us. What was your first ever, I guess, sexual experience, or the first time you felt sexual, I guess?
I mean, like, I lost my virginity at, like, 14. It was with my boyfriend at the time. It was also kind of like a fuck you to my mom because she was very, like, overbearing and stuff. And, like, I've always been, like, weirdly, like, hypersexual. I've dealt with a lot of trauma and, like, a lot of abuse. And unfortunately, that's kind of, like, one of the side effects. So, like, it's always kind of been, like, a thing. And so it's always kind of been there. Acted on it at 14, and like kind of from then on, just became a monster. Like,
right.
I mean, like, to be fair though, people did not like me in high school, so I did not become the slut that I wanted to be because everyone thought I was fucking weird. Also, I guess I was fat at the time. I was a size 9, but if you were in a size 00, you were a fat girl. And then also being the only brown girl in, like, an entire high school of white people didn't help either. So, once I turned, like, 16, I had my first, like, real boyfriend, and it was just, like, from then on until, I don't know, like, it's been a little over a year now. It's just kind of been nonstop, whether I had a partner or not. So yeah, just
Okay, okay, okay.
I
I
got a little weird. I got a little deep. I got a little off. Like, but like, I don't know. Like, there's the psychology behind like being like hypersexual as a child, and like it's a little weird to talk about, and it's a little, but like it's also like just like a thing that happens. It's also not like unnatural for these human beings figuring out their own like basically figuring out their existence to find out about that. You know what I mean?
right, I agree. Yeah, I also think it's not natural. I mean, we are sexual beings, and I don't think we're meant to have one partner for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean?
I am the opposite.
Really?
I'm very monogamous. I've actually been celibate for over a year now
Really?
because I don't want to have sex with anybody that isn't my partner, and I am also not dating right now. So there's that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, respect. You're actually the second person who I know that's done that or is doing that.
it's
Um,
funny because like I know people look at me and they don't think that I would be because like I've had my hoe phases and stuff, but we talked about this in my introduction episode where like I did the hookups and I did all that stuff, but like it didn't make me feel good. And I was always just kind of like left wanting. And I realized that my most fulfilling sexual experiences, the sex wasn't even really that great. It was more so that I liked that connection and the intimacy that I had with somebody as opposed to the sex itself.
right.
So like that's kind of like where I'm at in life, where it took a long time of me being dumb as shit and going through some like crazy stuff to like figure out that like I need to chill the fuck out and I need to like, I don't know, lock in. And if that person comes into my life, it happens. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I'm not going to throw myself out there all willy-nilly anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. Totally get that. So would you say you're somewhat of a romantic or
Oh, I'm hopeless romantic.
really? Okay.
Ever since I was like, ever since I could remember, like I always wanted to be in love. I always wanted to get married. I've actually never been married. I've been engaged twice. Been engaged twice. Neither of them worked out, obviously. But like I always wanted to get married. I always wanted to like spend the rest of my life with somebody. And I don't know. I feel like kind of getting back in touch with that has helped me out a lot. And I
Right.
feel closer to like, I feel more like myself than I have in a very long time.
Right. Okay. I see that. I can see that. With me, it's actually the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. Childhood trauma. I won't get into that, but I feel like I was a very same thing hypersexual kid. You know, I've always been fascinated with the female body. My first sexual experience, there was no sex involved. It was more of a I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Aside from
Being monogamous as
yes.
hell
So
and
what
being
what are,
very like traditional and like what I'm looking for in a relationship.
yeah, so what okay, so are you looking for someone that's your match or you I mean does it matter what kind of
So I have a very specific like kind of list that I'm pansexual. So
Right.
I don't care about gender as long as I think that, you're attractive and we have like good chemistry or whatever. Like I've been with men, I've been with women, I've been with other non-binary people. Like but like looks are definitely a thing. My taste in men is varies broadly, and my taste in women is also very, very broad. So it kind of boils down to like, do they have good style? Do they know how to dress? Do we have similar interests? Like, are they interesting? Do they have fucking hobbies? Like, I look at all of these different aspects when I'm looking for a partner, which is why, I've been, single for years, celibate for like a year and a half, because I like am so unbelievably picky and my standards are so high. So I don't, it's like, So yeah, I'm like, I'm very much looking for something specific. What I'm looking for, I think, is like a partner in crime where I can share these aspects of my life with them and they can also relate or be a part of that and like team up in certain ways. You know what I mean?
Right. So, okay, if you had to choose love or money, like if some guy came into your life and was like, I want you to be my, I guess, person for the next year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to travel the world with me and you're going to be my sex object for the next year. Would you jump on that?
Well, probably if it's only for the next year. Like, come on. Like, I am single and like, yeah, I'm celibate, but like, if somebody were to like just come up to me and be like, hey, like, could you be my girlfriend experience for like a year? I'd be like, let's get you tested. I will get tested. You have to promise me that if you do fuck anybody else, like, you have to wrap it up. Like, I don't care as long as I don't fucking catch anything.
Right.
And like, you know, kind of live it up. And I don't know. After that, I can go on my merry way. And who knows? Maybe I end up liking them. You never know. You spend
Right.
enough time with somebody, maybe we could even be friends after. Not like love or money. If it's only for like a year and I'm not planning on like dating at any time soon, it's different. But let's say like I meet the love of my life and then out of nowhere a man with a bunch of money comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend. I'm going to pick the love of my life. I'm going to pick love.
So you wouldn't pull a Demi Moore in an Indecent Proposal? Like, let's say you met the love of your life, and fucking Robert Redford kind of guy comes into your life and said, hey, you know what? I will give you $100,000 for one passionate night of sex with you. Cash.
I feel like that would be something I'd have to discuss with my partner because that's a life-changing amount of money.
Right, right.
Like, I love, like, if I'm with somebody for love, I am with them for love. These are very, like, fantastical kind of ideas that if I was in a strong enough relationship, I feel like I could kind of bounce it off. I personally would probably want to say no.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, babe, this is a lot of money. And, like, I would never have to see this person again. Like...
Well, I mean, did you ever watch the movie?
Romantic, but I'm not stupid.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. Like,
right. So, did you ever watch the movie?
No.
Okay, so it pretty much like that's exactly what happens. You know, she does take the money, and it's $1 million, and it kind of fucks up the relationship. You know.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned before, I feel that I'm the opposite. Where I used to be a hopeless romantic back in the day. I mean, I used to go balls out. You know, I mean, I'm talking about, you know, I would take in consideration or listen to everything people would say and use that, you know, like you know, do the flowers and the roses on the bed and, you know, all that shit. And then, like how I mentioned last time, you know, my son's mom was pretty much broke me. You know, it was kind of like, that's the one that kind of really turned it around, you know, where it was kind of like, fuck love, dude. It's all, you know.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was just like, you know, fuck anything that moves kind of situation, you know.
I get that. I went through my whole thing with that after the last relationship that I really, really was like fucking into. And it was like the first time I dated in like 6 years because the person I had before was like really terribly abusive towards me. So like it took a lot to even get me to the point where like I would even want to date anybody.
Right.
And then for them to like poke it out of me just to dump me and cheat on me. It's like, oh, people are terrible. Oh, people are fucking awful.
Yep.
I don't want to do this shit ever again. And I just went nuts. I went absolutely crazy. I would go to the bar and I would just go home with like a different dude every night. I was getting blackout drunk all the time. It was like, you know, it's traumatic. Like people don't want to, like people talk about breakups and it's like, they don't, like, it's like grieving because you're mourning the loss.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Like I felt like I lost, you know, as cliche as it's gonna sound, it's like, you know, when I say I felt my world literally fall apart, I mean, it literally fucking felt that way, you know.
Feels like somebody died. Because kind of in a way someone did. Like this person that you thought that you were going to spend the rest of your life with, or at least not, you know, not like I thought the person that I was like dating I was going to spend the rest of my life with, but I thought it was going to last a lot fucking longer than it did. And
yeah.
It's just like really like jarring, and it's really traumatic, especially when you've already gone through trauma and having to deal with that from somebody who's supposed to be your, like, you know, your person.
Yeah, it was, it really fucking was. I mean, because my kid had just turned 1, and it's funny because I ended up kind of doing what you did. I moved away after we broke up, you know.
I wish I moved away.
Oh well, I mean, I that's what I did. It was kind of weird because it's funny because as soon as we broke up, I had nowhere to go because my parents were actually had moved in with my sister, and I had no place to really crash, so I was still staying with her. And then she was going out, and I'm like, I know what was going on, dude. And so my friend from Iowa, a friend that moved to Iowa, found out about it, and she's like, why don't you fucking come out here? She bought me a fucking ticket. Now, mind you, Son's mom is acting like a total bitch to me this whole fucking time. As soon as she sees the Greyhound ticket on my side of the bed, she's like, what's this? You know, and she's like, well, I'm fucking leaving, dude. I can't fucking be here. And after that, she became fucking super nice. And for like the last 2 weeks that I was, you know, living in California, we started playing house again, where we would fuck and pretend like nothing was happening. Mm-hmm. And that was a fucking mind fuck, you know? So yeah, I feel like she kind of mind fucked me a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's hard, but like, I think, so my whole thing, and one of the reasons why I became, you know, celibate, and why I decided I didn't want to fucking do this shit anymore, was because I unfortunately did that shit with that person who had broken my heart, where we like, you know, started talking again, and like we started like visiting each other. Like he lives out in LA, I live here, and we would like kind of just see each other back and forth. We did that for like a year.
Oh.
But we were just friends. We were friends with benefits, even though he would push it, and he would call me pet names and like text me out of the blue, like, you're so wonderful and you're amazing and I hope you have a wonderful day type shit, like boyfriend stuff.
Right.
And then he dumped me. I guess didn't dump me because we weren't technically together, but basically was like, hey, so I met somebody else. I think I'm gonna try to date them. So we can't really talk anymore. And I was like, I'm literally in LA right now. Like, we were supposed to hang out.
Right.
It's Friday night and you're dropping this bomb on me now? Wow. Cool. Awesome. And then from then on, I was like, I don't want anybody touching me again. I like went from being like this horny motherfucker and then getting back with this fucking piece of shit. And like, I was, you know, I saw a couple other people in the beginning of me and him kind of reconciling. And like, it was almost like an open relationship, even though we didn't call it that. And like, you know, we would even talk shit about the people that we would like kind of see or start dating or whatever, and be like, oh my God, like, you see what this person said? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that type shit. Like, that was like my bestie. And then
that is so fucking weird, dude.
And then he like fucking started, you know, being cutesy with me and being fucking like, I started to feel like it was moving in a certain direction. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to stop seeing my hoes and I kind of want to focus on you. And like, you know, we'll see what happens. And then obviously that went to shit and I just said, fuck it. And I was like, I want to be with somebody. I want to be with one fucking person. And I just like, if I can't find that, then I'd rather die alone.
Right.
If I die never being touched again, that would be absolutely okay with me.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, I'm gonna fuck as much as I can.
Kind of where, right. That's kind of where I'm at. But like where you went to ethical non-monogamy, I went to just like full-on monogamy and celibacy. I just think it's very interesting how people who have who've dealt with traumatic breakups in such like dramatically different ways.
Right, which is funny because I was going to say, when I came back from Iowa, like half a year later, yeah, we were kind of like, not really talking and shit. And a year goes by, right? And I tell her, oh, hey, I met this chick. I'm going to introduce our kid to her. And I get this fucking random text about how that made her jealous somehow. And she's like, she did the whole, like, hey, why don't you come over? Now, mind you, she had already been dating this guy for, like, I guess right after I left Iowa. And they've been together for, like, a couple months or whatever. Long story short, we start fucking a year after I get back from Iowa. And it's kind of like your situation where she would talk shit about him,
Yeah.
And she would complain to me about him, and or she would be like, oh, did so-and-so say anything about, I'm like, no. It's like, oh, because like he yelled at me and he was very violent or whatever. I'm not saying my son's name, so that's fine,
Right.
So let's just call him Chucky for now, So he's like, hey, did Chucky say? I'm looking at a Chucky poster in front of me.
Yeah.
It's like, so did Chucky say anything about, so and so getting mad at me? I'm like, no. Like she was like looking, like fishing for, I don't know, like some sort of compassion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trying to be like, he's being so mean to me.
Yes, kind of, yeah. and yeah, we, and then like I remember at the time I had a job where I was a driver. I would drive around like all of, LA County and shit. So like there were times where she would like not go to work and she'd be like, hey, where you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm coming from Disneyland. It's like, well, why don't you come over to my house? Take your lunch break and come over to my house, kind of thing. And yeah, it was like that for a while. And the same thing, like all of a sudden, she kind of just stopped. Like, it was cut me off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Do I not have a say-so in this? But as they say, karma, because I come to find out a couple years later that turns out she was a side bitch to this dude,
Oh, man.
So I was kind of like, well, goes around, comes around.
Yeah.
So.
He was like, my situation, it wasn't that we were dating other people and still like fucking each other. We were more kind of each other's mains.
Right.
And like we would be on like, he would be on dating apps or like I would meet somebody at a bar and like kind of start like fucking around with them or whatever. This man actually called me a libertine, which is kind of like an old timey way of calling me a slut. Like, like you go girl. Like I was like, anyways, but yeah, so it was less like, because I've never been about dishonesty. I've never been about like cheating or anything like that. Like I've always been very staunchly against cheating, and like personally for me, like if I am in love with somebody, they're usually like the only person I can think of.
Right.
I don't even want to be with anybody else. Like, so the idea of cheating just doesn't cross my mind.
Yeah, I mean, because when we were together, we said, hey, if there's any time that you want to cheat or have whatever, just end it, and then
yeah, just quit.
Because yeah, she was like, I mean, we had talked about like experimenting with threesomes and shit or whatever, but
yeah.
It almost happened once if someone hadn't fucking knocked on the door. It was at a party, and she was about to go down, and someone fucking knocked on the door and kind of killed the mood. But no, we talked about experimenting with other people and shit, and because she was bisexual, or she's bisexual, and it never happened. But yeah, it was like I don't think I could ever see her with another dude,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I said, without getting all sad and bastard and shit, it destroyed me, It fucking really destroyed me. And after that, it was like, I I don't fucking believe in this shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's I'm more of a fuck around and not really give a. It's like the first time me and her ever fought. She was gonna like walk away. She was gonna leave, and I pulled the whole. Dude, you can fucking leave. I'm not gonna chase after you. I'm at the point in my life where I'm not gonna chase after anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we've been together since fucking right before COVID, and she's my biggest fan. I fucking love her. We're each other's rocks, and as long as we don't.
Please.
Yeah, and I think the one rule is as long as if you do something, don't catch anything, and I don't want to hear about it, kind of thing. So.
You have like the don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, pretty much. And
I was always like the opposite, where I was very open about like the exports, and then same with them. Like I don't know, I felt like if I were to ever do non-monogamy, which I know that I do not have the gumption for that, but if I were, I would want everything to kind of be out in the open, just so I could like kind of know what's going on.
Right.
I feel like if I find out that you're talking to somebody else and I come across it, that's going to hurt me a lot more than you just like openly talking about it. I just don't really like secrets.
I've heard worse things, I've seen worse shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like to each their own. I the one thing is like when I meet people or I know people that are in their 20s and they want to get married, it's like no, that's a big. It's like statistically, you're not gonna make it. I tell people that all the time.
I saw this meme that was going around, and it was like, if you're in your 30s and you haven't been married yet, don't worry, you just missed out on your first divorce.
There you go.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually so real, because if I had married either of the men that I was supposed to be married, that I was engaged to, we would have been divorced within like probably like a year at the most, I think. Like,
you're right. And it's funny because my son's mom, we were engaged, so I feel that would have been my first divorce as well.
Yeah.
So, but like I said before, she was she was a huge factor in my creative process. Like she was my guinea pig. So, and like I tell her all the time, she's my son's mom. So there is still love there. I still love her for who she is. Not like my first baby mama. That cunt can die off, and that'd be like, thank you, Jesus.
Tell us how you really feel, Zombie.
I feel fuck. I feel we've had fucked up relationships, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm in a great one right now.
That's good.
But yeah, like I said, she was married for 30 years. Like I love her kid. Her kid is fucking awesome. My bonus child. I found the person that I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life. The best part about it is, and the best part is, like I said, I can do whatever I want. It's like having my cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
As long as I don't say anything. So, which is, I guess, like, it's like one of those things where, like, it got better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you first break up from the first person, it's like your world is just in shards, and, you don't know what's around the corner. And I feel that I finally, after fucking 10 years, met this person who kind of picked me up and, I guess, believed in me and shit,
Yeah.
So, all right. So, I guess let's talk about kinks. What are some of yours?
I think we might have talked a little bit about it in like my intro episode, but
I think so. But I mean, this is the Valentines love sex edition. So
my kink is being obsessed over and treated like a human being. No, but for real, like I don't know. Blood is a big one and a weird one that a lot of people wouldn't do with me, which is fine. It's understandable. It's a bodily fluid, and the way to get it is not always like the funnest way to get it. Right. At least not for them usually. I'm also like into BDSM. I am a submissive. which is really funny because a lot of people wouldn't guess that from like knowing me or talking to me. Everyone always assumes that I'm like a dominant, and I'm just like, that is so funny. I'm actually baby. Like, I'm just a little guy. I don't know, like I really like I'm very like into pain, like I'm very masochistic, I like bondage. You know, what else am I into? Here's a weird one. Really, really, really into like priest, like nun stuff. I don't know. I think it might be the Catholic guilt. Like,
Okay.
I love priest outfits for whatever reason, and like I've dressed up as a nun quite a few times, and I don't know, like, that like role plays like so hot to me. But like I don't know, like other than that, like it's I feel like my kinks are, other than the blood, are pretty basic. Like I'm not into anything like super extreme or weird. I am an exhibitionist, which I feel like is pretty obvious considering
Right.
the side gigs and such that I have and the way that I present myself online. Like I don't know, like there's a lot that kind of goes into it, but like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too out there.
Well, it's funny.
What about
I actually, it's funny. I've always wanted to get a priest outfit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I guess it's like I said. I'm very anti-religious.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I mean, like I am too. Like I'm spiritual in other ways, but like
oh, I
Catholicism
feel
or
I'm.
Christianity is
Honest,
not really the vibe.
right. I feel like I'm like agnostic, so I do believe there is a higher power. But I do believe organized religion is full of shit. You know, it's all crap.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oddly.
But then again, like I said, I was raised Catholic, so there is that Catholic guilt. But yes, I've always wanted to buy a fucking priest outfit just to like, I don't know, just to see what it's like. I want to see people treat me differently, you know, kind of thing. You know, go to a church or I don't know. And fun fact about me, nuns give me the creeps. I don't know if it's from watching Nightmare on Elm Street, story about her getting raped by the psychopaths and shit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and then just and then like when I would see like nuns in real life, they just kind of freak me out. I don't know what it is. It's the whole fucking outfit, dude. You know, like especially like okay, like I know I've talked about this before. Before you joined the show, but like. Catholicism in Mexico is a whole different fucking thing.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, for sure.
So I feel that just that alone is just would traumatize me as a kid, you know. So
Yeah.
nuns kind of give me the willy nillies, you know. I know that's dumb, but
The heebie-jeebies.
the heebie-jeebies, yeah. So, but for some reason I've always wanted to get like a priest outfit to kind of just fuck around with people or do dumb shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as my kinks, obviously like I said, I do have a little foot fetish. I'm very fucking anal about that shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's got to be like perfect feet. I know it's fucking sounds stupid.
What constitutes the perfect foot?
Okay, so no webbed feet.
No, damn.
And, yeah, I'm gonna sound fucking shallow. When the big toe is shorter than the rest of the toes, that's weird
I
to
can
me.
see that being weird.
That's weird to me. Okay, see.
No shade, no hate. You're everybody's beautiful, but like I understand.
Yeah, these are just weird things to me.
Personal preferences.
Especially like if it's a tall chick and they got like the big feet, that's fucking sexy to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I love fucking tall chicks. That's, I guess, if you want to call that a fetish. The knee-high boots. And I know where this comes from. When I was a kid, I don't know how much you know about pop culture in Mexico, but there was an actress, singer named Lorena Herrera, and when she would perform, she would have these knee-high fuck-me boots where it was open on the heel and the toes.
Yeah.
And for some reason, and then she was so hot that like it just turned me on as going through puberty at the time.
Right.
So like I said, and then they have their platform boots. So like I said, my son's mom is like 5'11", so when she put like platform shoes, she's like a fucking tree and shit.
Yeah.
So like that's just to me that's fucking hot, you know.
Yeah.
And then I guess being dominant. I have to be fucking dominant, you know. The whole daddy dom, you know, daddy girl thing or whatever you want to call it.
Baby girl,
Yeah.
the DDLG, daddy dom.
Yeah. I mean,
thing.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm yeah. I mean, it's, you know, being called daddy kind of thing. I'm not into, you know. I'm not like Max Hardcore, who's like, you got dressed like a little girl. I hate that shit. That's weird. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's just fucking weird.
Yeah,
Like,
I-
I like using the word daddy because it sounds. I think master sounds kind of funny.
I
don't
think
know.
master
I
does
can
sound
say-
kind
I
of
can
funny.
I can say sir. I don't know. Daddy just kind of rolls off the tongue. And
Right.
when I say daddy, I grew up without a father. If that wasn't clear enough.
Right.
But so the word daddy doesn't mean anything to me because I
Right.
didn't have anybody to call that growing up. So it never has that. I kind of see, for me, daddy is almost like, you know, like back in the day, like women would call their boyfriends daddy. Like, this is my big daddy. Like,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? So that's kind of like more like where I kind of go with it. When people kind of take it literally and are like doing like almost like a daddy daughter role play thing, that's when I think it gets a little fucked, a little weird.
Oh yeah. No. Like I said, I've yeah, the whole daddy, you know, or like, you know, cost one baby girl or whatever. But
Right,
no,
right.
But it's not really like, you know.
It's not like you're pretending to be like you're pretending. There's no age play.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
it.
No,
Yeah.
But,
That's like a whole different thing.
or like, you know, when you get a text saying, "Hey, Daddy, I was thinking about you, and you know, here's me in the shower," or whatever, you know, the case may be.
right.
But I think that. Oh, and then I think I mentioned this the last time. When somebody cries, when my partner cries, it's, I don't know where that comes from. I know there's an actual name for it. I think I mentioned it the last time in your introduction episode. But the first time it ever happened was, and I don't know if this was a factor, but I was with my first baby mama. We were in her room at her dad's house, and I think she had just gotten out of the shower, so she was naked, like on the bed. And her mom called her to tell her that one of her dogs died. So she starts like fucking sobbing and crying. So I don't know if it was the fact that she was naked, that it kind of just, in my head, it was like, psh, that's a turn on. This bitch is fucking naked and she's crying.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know. Because, and I hate to fucking say this, and I hope she never listens to this, but like when my son's mom's dad had a heart attack and she started fucking crying, same fucking thing, dude. I can't I was kind of like, that one I felt bad. I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad about that one because like her her stepmom called and said, "Hey, so and so's in the you know, at the hospital. He just had a heart attack," and she's fucking bawling, and I'm just like, "Oh shit." I feel bad because this is like turning me on, but you know, hey, but I felt bad. You know, it's not, it's, you know.
If a man ever told me that if like me receiving devastating news and sobbing,
We'll see. Okay. It's not about the
so upset.
but it's not about the news part. It's more about the reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also like I get that, but like. And like I could see how tears during sex could be like a turn on. Like, I mean, not to get too vulgar here, but like, you know, I'm a throat goat. I'd be gagging and crying on that bitch. And like that's a turn on for me. But like I think for me, like anything taken out of that context would make me so angry. Like if I got like a phone call saying that like, I don't know, someone that I knew or like someone's pet died and I started crying and my boyfriend or my girlfriend or whoever the fuck I decide to date comes up to me and starts trying to like get on me and being like, I would lose it.
Okay, so for the record, I never tried to do anything.
I figured you're more intelligent than that.
No,
But, like,
I am. No, it's like no, I didn't try to You know, but honestly, I feel that there is a connection with the whole, like, you know, when you are grieving somebody, you kind of seek comfort. Yeah, yeah. It's like when, you know, yeah, like, you know, when you go through trauma, or someone dies,
Yeah.
you obviously, you look to comfort, you know, for comfort, and it kind of always kind of leads to sex. You know, it's almost like when you have baby booms. You know, after, you know, historically, after a, you know, global event, a traumatic global event like World War II, there's always a baby boom. I know I'm wording, as you say, words are hard, so I know I'm not wording this, but do you see where I'm getting at? I think there's a correlation.
I get what you're talking about. Like, no, I understand, like, the context of everything. I'm just saying that me personally, I would probably hit somebody.
Well, again, for the record, I never tried to.
Well, I mean, clearly, she obviously doesn't even know that you had those feelings, because you're like, I hope she doesn't hear this.
Chances are she'll never hear this. I don't. Like I said, I haven't talked to her in over a year. That's why I have certain stories I will never say on this show, just in case certain people, you know. But other than that, I'm an open book, you know. But yeah, I think those are. I guess those are the
main ones.
The main ones. I love latex, when chicks wear latex. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love that shit. You know, basically your stripper shoes, all that. You know, the big tits, the whole goth look. Again, I think that was thanks to Elvira. You know, watching her on Channel 9. You know, doing the movie thing. You know, where she introduces the. You know, so.
Removing the cob.
Yeah, thank you. And Lily Munster. Lily fucking Munster, dude. Like, she was so fucking hot. You know? I mean, I was more of a Munsters guy instead of an Addams Family kind of guy. But...
Okay.
You know. But yeah, I think that's where my love of goth chicks, you know. Oh, and then when I saw Blair Witch 2... what's her face? Kim Director as a goth chick. Holy fucking shit, dude. She was so hot in that, you know. But yeah, that's my I guess goth, the whole goth chick thing is like a fetish. I don't know, you know.
I guess, like, this isn't really like a fetish, more so like I've always been into, like, villain types. Like, maybe not like act like they're evil, like, for real, but like I've always liked men that look evil, and I'm gonna blame Disney for that, because I really had a big fucking crush on Captain Hook. That was like
okay. I can see that.
Captain Hook, Jafar with the fucking snatch ass eyeliner. Like, I don't know, like, I loved evil men with mustaches, which makes a lot of sense when you look at my dating history.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's like a preference almost. Like, you have to look like you're like a villain in like a movie or something to like get with me.
I've never heard that. That's so funny. I've always had, okay, so when I was in like the second grade, my first crush was this little white girl. I remember her, like, little blonde, blue-eyed white girl, and he was Beverly. And that was my very first crush ever. Mm-hmm. And after that, it was kind of like, white girls have always been my preference, you know?
Okay.
Like, my partner, she's got the blonde hair and blue eyes. And she's always like, dude, I'm not even fucking goth. Like, I don't know what you see in me and shit. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like, well, dude, like, I love the whole package, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's not about fucking just looks for me either, you know?
Right.
Plus, if I want to fuck somebody that looks goth, I'll find somebody that looks, you know?
Right. Or like, I know that you'll wear black for me.
Exactly. You know, because that's one
like,
thing.
You'll put much for me, and I like that shit.
Because one thing we always talk about is our intellectual conversations that we have, you know, and that's one thing that she does mention a lot, that she never had that with her first husband, or for her ex-husband. And I'm like, dude, I can have an intelligent conversation with you, and if you're not up for it, I'll just go do my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I would rather have a intelligent, meaningful conversation, you know. Because that's one thing I'm like, dude, I don't care how hot someone is. If there's no intellectual connection,
if there's nothing real there.
yeah,
It's
you know, it's like our show, 90 Day Fiance. A lot of these people are from like foreign countries, so
Yeah.
I feel like there's always going to get. I feel like things always get lost in translation, and I don't think I can handle that. I'm like, dude, I need you to know and understand what I'm saying to you. You know?
Yeah, the language barrier is definitely like an issue, and like it's a bummer because you know that a lot of those relationships are only because like of like the what is it called? I guess technically like sex tourism would be it, but it's
Yeah.
not just they'd be looking for like girls that they can basically take advantage of and have a power imbalance over that'll do anything they say because they have money or whatever.
I feel like a lot of the relationships are like that. Yeah.
It's almost like a mail order bride, except you get to go.
It kind of is, you know. And then like when they get to America, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. And that's the whole, reaction. Well, bitch, I brought you here. You got to do whatever I say. Nothing against it. Nothing, that if you can connect, whatever with someone from a different country. But I feel like even in Spanish, I don't think I could ever be with someone that just speaks Spanish, because there is that, I know I speak Spanish.
Yeah,
but
there's.
But even I have a hard time now, sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I have to, like, even with my mom, like, I'm just like, hold on, let me Google what that word is, So I need someone that I can have a conversation with and enjoy myself, It's and I have to explain, well, this is what I meant by that. Or, no, you don't take this literal. Like, this is not what I meant literally.
You just want someone who clicks.
Exactly. So, like I said, my person is, wide as they come, if you will.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, as far as like kinks, I think that's it. Okay, let me ask you this. I don't think I've ever asked anybody this. Does size matter?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I actually, for me personally, and I know like guys like to joke that it's a lie or whatever, but like personally, I don't like it when the shit's too big. It hurts. I don't like it. I don't know. I like most of the people I've been with have always been like a little larger than average, like somewhere between like the 7-8 range, and that right there is I think kind of perfect for me.
Right.
Like anywhere between 5 and 6 is like also really good. Like I personally have never been with anybody smaller than that wasn't like a sex work thing. It wasn't like because I specifically sought these people out. It was just because like that's just kind of how it worked. But like I don't know. I've been with a lot of guys who are very like insecure about their size, and I have to like constantly be like, which I stopped doing this. But like I had like one ex who was like, he was like almost like 8 inches big, and he would be like, yeah, like I know it's like really small, and like I'm really sorry about that, and I'm just like, you need to stop doing that because I'm going to start agreeing with you. Right. I was like, I don't know how many times I can tell you that not only is your dick not small, but it's kind of like almost a little too big. And you just kind of being like, no, it's so small. Like that shit's so annoying and it's such a turn off.
Okay, so let's segue to this. Is there such a thing as too big?
Oh, for sure.
Like
absolutely.
Where you're just like, I'm not, that thing is not going inside of me.
Like I'll try. But, like, it's not going to go all the way in. And if you try to get it all the way in, I will probably beat you to death.
Right.
Like.
No, I hear you.
You're not going to cause any permanent damage to my nether regions. I like those.
Spit or swallow?
Swallow. I mean, like, it depends on the situation. But, like, most of the time I swallow. I've, drooled it out, spit it out. I've done all of it, but like I don't mind the taste of it. I'm not like the kind of person where like I will like immediately spit it out unless it's for like a sexual reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's funny. The first time I ever finished in someone's mouth, that's the first thing they did was spit it. Well, it was into a napkin. I was like, but I was kind of like, oh my god, dude! Like I've never had that done before. So, to me, it was like, we could do that? I can come in your mouth? So okay, so if someone isn't like going down on you, is that a deal breaker? Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. And like it's funny because like I was somebody who thought that I didn't like head for a very, very long time. And then I actually met somebody who did it very well and I was like, "Oh, I do like it. Everyone else is just really bad at it." And I don't know if it was because they never got told what they were doing was incorrect or if they just didn't care and were just trying to like just get it out of the way so they could say that they did it.
Right.
It's a requirement now. And if you are not good at it, then I am not only not returning the favor, I am kicking you the fuck out of my house. Like,
Right.
I don't know, like, as much as I talk about how sex, like, is, like, I can go without sex, I am a very horny person, and I am somebody who, like, when I'm with somebody, like, I am all over them. But, like, and like sex is very important to me in a relationship. Like if you like I'm open to communication and I'm open to talking, but like I need somebody who's gonna match me
Right.
in my libido, which is very high. And it's like if you're not good at it, like I can't and like you're not willing to learn or listen to my feedback, like I'm not going to continue a relationship because sex is another extension of communication.
Oh, I agree.
It's another extension of communication and intimacy. And if like your partner is actively not doing what you have communicated, it's like, and like there's no compromise. It's like, what are we even doing here? Like this is like one of like the most fun parts of being in a relationship and you're fucking it up. Like, why are we here?
No, I totally agree with you. One time we were shooting with my son's mom and that conversation came up. Yeah, they started talking about that, and my son's mom told my human that I was one of the best she's ever had, like during giving head. And,
Hell yeah!
And I remember the same thing with my first baby mama. On one of those rare days that we were actually on good terms, I was like, "So who's better, me or your husband?" And she's like, "Well, technically you, because he's kind of rough, you know." And
yeah.
and I'm just kind of like, all right. And then for my human. All I'm going to say is Skittles. And she knows what I mean by that.
Oh, goodness gracious.
But the fact that, like, my son's mom, like, totally told, you know, I was kind of like, well, hey.
Oh, my God.
I did a great job, you know. So.
Oh, my God.
and here's a little advice for all the guys out there. The only reason I thrive or I'm good at it is because when I took human sexuality, our professor, as you know, we are all women or we're all females when we start off. Mm-hmm. So like our penis heads are like the women's clitoris, and obviously the ovaries are our nuts. So our professor said, just think of how sensitive your penis head is. That's how sensitive a clitoris is. So I took that and I ran with it. It was kind of like, oh. So I like this.
You want to do what you would want.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. Mm-hmm. And the first person that I practiced it on was with my first baby mama. Oh my God. Like, I'm just going to leave it at that. It was like night and day. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just a word of advice to all the other guys out there. Just think of it that way. Your penis head is their clitoris. You know? So, just do to them what you'd want done to you. You know?
Yeah.
The more you know. So, but yeah, that's my PCA for today. Okay, so, anal. Are you into anal?
It depends. I enjoy it. There is a lot of preparation that goes into it though, so it's not just like something that I just like do.
Right.
I actually haven't I'll play with myself and stuff, but like I haven't actually done any kind of like anal play with a partner in a very, very long time. That wasn't like, you know, a couple fingers or like, you know, eating my ass or whatever. Like, so like, but like, you know, if the opportunity arose and it was something that was discussed and I prepped properly, the thing is, it's like anal doesn't really happen because it's not something you can just do out of the blue.
Right.
But like, it is something that I do enjoy, and I, like maybe one day I'll find somebody who's into it.
Okay. So
I also like giving.
okay, that was gonna be my next question. So you're into pegging guys if
Yeah,
they're into it?
I mean, like women, men. Like I have a strap. It's rated E for everybody. Like,
Okay, I like that. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna ask something, but I told you lost my thought. Okay, so obviously that was my next question, because I know a lot of women who are actually turned off. I actually had a friend who literally dumped her boyfriend because he wanted to get pegged. What do you think about that? Like, what do you say to those women?
I mean, if you're not personally into it, then like that's fine. Everyone's got their preferences, and like I don't expect everybody to be into the same stuff. Now, if it's under like if like the reasoning behind it is homophobic, then I think you're a dumb bitch.
I
And
don't think
that's dumb.
I don't think it was homophobic. Me personally, I'm not into it. But
Like,
the reason,
yeah.
so it wasn't homophobic. It was more like, I think the reason was more like I want a manly man. I don't want someone who takes it up the ass. I guess would that be homophobic? Okay.
Yeah, that's homophobic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that would be
never
like ew, does that mean you're gay? Gross. I don't want a gay man. Like, it kind of goes into that.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, I never really gave much thought about that. But you're right. I guess it could be under homophobic. But I mean, me myself, I'm not into it. That's just my thing. And
that's perfectly valid.
Right. I mean, I've had fingers up my butt from doctors, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and like I can imagine from that experience alone, you're like, not my thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing that sucks is like the last 3 doctors that did it, that had their fingers on my butt, was like right before my back surgery, and they were all like fucking hot young chick nurses. I mean, doctors. They were all like young.
Yeah, they were doctors.
And I'm just like, of course you'd have to be this hot, like, yeah, not my thing. And yeah, it's very discomforting. I don't find any pleasure in it. Yeah, so, but yeah, like I said, I know a lot of women prefer their men not to get pegged. But I know it's big, Okay.
It's definitely gained a lot of popularity. I think fetishes and stuff in general have become a lot more mainstream, especially like on social media and stuff. I don't know. The last person that I was like with like had no interest in being pegged or having their butt touched in any way, shape, or form. Like grabbing the booty cheeks while they're like railing me is like one thing. Sometimes we would like bite each other's asses just because it was funny.
Right. No.
Like,
yes. See
but
that?
like anything beyond that, and like I've eaten ass. I've fingered, pegged, and done all that stuff, and like I've talked to them about it, but they're like, "That's cool, no interest of mine," and like it is what it is, and it's not like something that I need to do. It's just like if somebody brought it up, I'm not opposed to it.
Right. Okay. Let's see.
It's like you enough.
Right. So is there any fantasies that you have not ever tried but want to? Threesomes, orgies, fucking.
I've done a lot. I've done a lot. I'm trying to think of anything. I feel like I've already gotten all like the real crazy shit out of my system. Like I don't really have anything that I haven't done that I haven't wanted to already.
Okay.
Like I've been very. I told you like I went through my little like I went through my phase of like free love and whatever, and I did a lot of experimenting with a lot of different people. I've been in orgies, I've been in threesomes, and all different varieties. Like it's. I think that's also going back to where I'm at in my life is like the reason why I am so like, okay, I've done it all. I kind of know what I like. I kind of know what I don't like. And I think I'm good. And I can go without sex because I got it all out of my system. Any of the weird shit's already like done.
So it's so weird how we had like a lot of the similar history, but we're at different. More of a I'm gonna fuck everything before that's the thing. I'm also older than you, so I'm more of a I want to fuck around before I die kind of thing, you know. Or
see, I've already done enough fucking around, and I'm just
see, I've done a lot of fucking, you know, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying that like for me personally, like I'm good on it. Like it's not like I said, like I mean, like I can take care of myself. I have a perfectly good vibrator, and like like I said, the things that I like the most about sex are the intimacy of it, and like the connection that I have with somebody, rather than the acts themselves. Like that part's fun. Okay. But it doesn't mean anything unless I don't feel satisfied.
Okay, so if you could describe your perfect Valentines or like date, what would it be?
A perfect Valentine.
Let's say you met some new guy. You're like, this seems like a fun guy. What would your perfect, I guess, weekend? What would it be?
I don't know, like, taking me out to dinner, like somewhere that we both really like. Because I'm also like a really big foodie, so like choosing like a nice restaurant that's like up my alley, maybe preferably something that like we haven't done before. I don't know. I'm very simple. Like I'm very much like I just want to be taken out to dinner. Like give me flowers, and then like I don't know. Maybe we could go to like a really nice hotel or go back to one another's places and just like have a bunch of candles lit and do like the whole thing. Like maybe watch Dracula together. Like I don't really want anything like super extravagant. I just like want to be with the person that I love and have something like something thoughtful put together.
So I would imagine you're talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh yeah, of course.
With Keanu Reeves and him.
Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman. I know you talked about it and about how
whoa, Dracula.
Yeah. I get it, but like I don't know, Gary Oldman kind of saves that fucking movie, and the aesthetics of it are so good. And I don't know, it's just like such a sexy movie. It's so romantic, and like like I don't know. I'm corny. I'm just a baby. Like I don't know.
So funny story. Again, I wish she had joined us because she was actually on the set for one of the film scenes of Dracula back in the 90s. I want to say it was with the brides scene.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't remember. No, I mean that's good. I mean if I could. So, like, let's say me and Kat Dennings had a date, because that's my go-to. I would totally. I mean, yeah, I've always had this thing where it'd be fucking cool to go to a nice like hotel, that's like fucking a couple floors up, and it's either fucking raining or like a snowstorm, and just getting high and fucking ordering from the. From the kitchen and just getting high and like fucking and watching horror movies all weekend long. Like that would be like the perfect fucking weekend. I mean, that
sounds like a good weekend.
Right?
Honestly, like the best moments that I've had with like my partners have always just been like us just like being in bed and not leaving for the whole day, or like ordering food and like watching movies,
especially when it's raining or like snow, right? Or like snowing, or having a lazy Sunday or shit, or the days that you call in sick on a Monday morning, and those are the fucking best days. Any fun, sexy stories or like weird sex stories? I was getting head in back of a bus and someone caught us or some shit.
I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, like, I've had a bunch of like odd experiences. Like, I mean, I will say that I don't think I've ever been caught having sex.
Oh, I have.
I don't think I've ever been caught having sex. Oh wait, I lied. I was 16, and I was with my high school boyfriend. That was like my first like real boyfriend, and like we were in the back of his parents' like minivan because he would borrow it from them so we could go places. And we were parked somewhere, and my little freaky ass cut this boy with a razor blade, and I'm like licking blood off of his chest. And then we just see lights flashing, and I was like, no. No fucking way. I'm literally 16 years old. I am like half naked with this boy, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to jail. Like, it's also
Wow.
public indecency. Like, even though you're in a car, it's still technically like it's still public. It's still a public, thing. So like, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna go to jail. They're gonna call my mom. Oh my god. And the cop, asks for our IDs. I obviously didn't have one on me, but my boyfriend had a driver's license, and they asked us like, how old we are and what our names were. And I was like in tears, like freaking out, and I'm just like and he's just like looking at both of us, and he's just like, I'm gonna let you guys off with a warning. Like, do not ever fucking do this again. And I was so lucky that the cop was cool because, like, I lived in a small town, and like, not all the cops were very nice. And like, unfortunately, I had run-ins with a couple of them. But like, he was just like, kids will be kids. Like, it is what it is. It's young teenage love. So like, we got off scot-free, but I was like, I buried that in the back of my mind because that was like the most like nerve-wracking moments of my life.
Well, shit, I feel that this has been like a Dr. Phil like kind of experience, where we're bringing up traumatic experience or things we put away in the back of our heads and shit.
I also like haven't had to think about that for so long because like like high school boyfriend, like why would I think about that? I'm like gonna be 32 this year. There's like that's such a long gap. But like you brought up like have you ever been caught or whatever, and like in my adult life no, but of course when I'm like a 16-year-old kid like finally getting into like my sexuality, a fucking cop shows up like. Like the worst person that could catch you other than your parents.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I guess he was cool because I mean he could have just made your life miserable.
He really could. He really could have just called our asses to the station and made us call our parents or something.
Right.
Like that would have been so embarrassing. I would have been shipped off somewhere. I don't know what would have happened, but my mom would have probably locked me up somewhere and threw away the key. Like.
I guess we'll leave it at that. Well, I feel like we had a couple of good things we learned about each other for this first ever Valentine's edition of Love and Sex.
I feel like this has been more of a trauma dump than anything.
Kind of. Well, I mean, isn't that what Valentine's is? It's just trauma for some people. I mean, I know sometimes it was a traumatic, holiday for me. I don't know about you.
Believe it or not, Valentine's Day is like my second favorite holiday.
What?
I haven't had a partner for Valentine's Day in, I don't know, like 10 years. But like, I love it. I love love. I love the idea of it. Obviously, I'm a huge romantic. And like, I love red and heart-shaped things. It's just like everything about it, the aesthetics of it. Like, I don't know. I really like the holiday.
Well, I guess, like I said, when I first, when I split it from my son's mom, it was right before Valentine's Day. So it's kind of like, it still reminds you of all the bad shit. So yeah, that's why I'm not a big fan of shit Valentines. But to each their own. I mean, I know people still believe in love, like you. So, all right. So, again, do you want to give out
My handles.
my handles and shit?
So I am Bruja de Basura, Bruja_de_basura on Instagram and OnlyFans, also on Blue Sky. I don't have any events coming up as of now. I don't know. I don't really have anything happening. Other than that, that's me.
All right. Well, you can follow us on Instagram, Penetrate Your Brain Podcast. Our link tree is there with all the info. Where you can reach us. And I hope we penetrated your brain with some knowledge. So we'll see you next time.
Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay sexy. Bye.
Bye.